So, should people in this room fear you?
I think people in this room should think of me as a solution to make more money, honestly, right? So a lot of people will drive 50 miles, 75 miles to buy a car, but they won't drive more than 2 or 3 miles to get it fixed. So people in this room view me as competition, but in many ways, this could be a way to extend your revenue stream to the customers that aren't coming back to your dealership.
Okay. Former General Motors CEO Rick Wagner
Yeah.
is an investor and an advisor in your company. Did you seek him out, or did he find you?
We were introed, so I'm not sure who sought out who.
You were matchmaked.
Yeah, we were match-made, and Rick's been incredibly helpful and a great sounding board.
Okay. What could people in this room do to make your life more difficult and challenging?
That's a good question, actually. I think that for us, if the competition spent more time caring about, well, at least from our perspective, on how to make the experience better for their customers, that would make my life more difficult instead of how to squeeze more money out of their customers.
Okay. Some dealerships are beginning to experiment with mobile mechanics of their own. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, and some of the people we talked about today we've worked with in the past, and someone from Longo's actually been an advisor to our company in the past. So for us, what we would say is it's hard, right? Like I had one dealership group say they were going to solve it by having one van and go to this neighborhood on Tuesdays and a different neighborhood on Thursdays, and that's not what customers want. So from my perspective, mobile is what people want, and you need to do it in a way your customers want it, is the best way for me to describe that, which would mean being able to schedule it up front online, know the price up front, and have the mechanics show up reliably.
Could you share some pros and cons to drop off and pick up service vehicles instead?
You mean like a valet service?
Or just going to the consumer and retrieving the vehicle, bringing it to the dealership?
Yeah, I know that Lincoln, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were doing that for a while, and it's again, better experience than having to drive it yourself and figure out a loaner or ride or whatever it is. But that takes more time than being done in your driveway. And it usually, I think, so there's a company, a startup in my area called CarDash, that tried to do that, and they pivoted their model in a short period of time, because all you're doing is really fundamentally adding extra cost. And that extra cost has to be paid for somewhere. So from my perspective, you're making a bad model worse by adding cost than you are, coming to someone's house.
How do you adjust for servicing in cold weather, say January in Minnesota?
I get this question all the time, and it's funny to me because no one ever asks me about how I adjust for servicing vehicles in Phoenix when it's 130 degrees outside. But our technicians will go out in any kind of weather. They have tarps and generators and all that. But consumers don't think about getting their car done in their driveway when their driveway is covered in snow. So we see demand go down a lot in cold weather states in the winter, which we don't have happen to us down. Like Florida is one of our best markets.
Okay. I know you've got a partnership with Goodyear, and the question is, are you able to do tire changes?
Yeah, well, it depends. We do tires for our fleet customers. Our guys don't have loaders and balancers, but Goodyear is rolling out mobile vans. And so they're a perfect partner for us. So we envision it. We do a 50-point digital inspection on every service we do, which we also upload to the cloud. So we have a data set across the country of cars that are 11 years old on average that nobody else really has. And when we do that inspection, 2/3 of our customers need tires in the next 90 days because of how old cars are on our platform on average. We envision referring those customers for Goodyear to come do what our customers want, which is have the service done in their driveway at a specific period of time.
So you get a referral fee, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it makes our customers happy, and in theory, I make more money.
Yeah. What happens when something goes wrong in a driveway repair, such as the tech strips a lug nut and the truck doesn't have the tools or parts to complete a job?
Yeah, it happens sometimes. On average, our techs have 10 years of experience, so they take what they need. If something happens in the wild, they need to figure out how to troubleshoot and solve that problem. We stand behind our work with a 12-month and 12,000-mile warranty. But in that kind of scenario, what generally happens is the tech gets backed up, and it impacts my future appointments that day with that technician, but the technician will solve the problem.
Do you run into neighborhood zoning laws of no work in a driveway?
Sure. In Hawaii, what we do is illegal overall. So it's not even it's a statewide issue. And then in New York, we had to get approved by the DMV because we're mobile. In the city of San Francisco, we can't do it on the street. So we tell people we'll do it in their office, but they have to check with their landlord to make sure it's okay. So I would say we run into that all the time. We generally put that burden on the customer that they have to have an approved place that's generally flat and dry for us to
So in San Francisco, you don't do oil changes on 45-degree angle driveways. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. How do you pay for your techs, and how do you accommodate for things like drive time?
Yeah, we don't pay drive time, but how we pay them is we start them at $40 an hour for time turning the wrench, and they can earn up to over 50 in some cases. So we do look at what their total available hour earnings are, and they make kind of roughly the same that they would make in a shop doing that, in some cases better, but we don't provide benefits. They're independent contractors or they run their own business. My best guys make $60,000, $70,000 a year on the consumer platform. Had a guy in LA made almost $120,000 last year.
How are you recruiting and retaining technicians?
Yeah, so again, my NPS is 50. The technicians are happy. It's the first time in their life they don't have like 3 levels of management overlooking them, telling them what to do all the time. So that part of it's pretty easy if I give them enough work. So we know that if they don't make a certain amount of money for us, it's $1,500 a month. The churn is very high. So the guys that use us as a side hustle churn more than people that give us a full schedule. As far as hiring goes, it's amazing when you offer twice their hourly wage in the ad, how many people respond. So we get a lot of people in the top of the funnel based on the way that we pay. And really for us, it's not about qualified guys. They average 10 years of experience, multiple ASE certifications. It's about soft skills and tech skills because a lot of times mechanics aren't interfacing directly with the consumer, and we need them to be able to show up in a soccer mom's driveway and make her feel comfortable.
Okay. According to LinkedIn, you have 573 job openings. Is that accurate?
No. I mean, maybe for 573 mechanics,
okay.
But no, we're not hiring right now.
No.
I mean, we hire periodically, but we mainly are hiring engineers, software developers. We care about building a platform. What we do is really hard. We get calls from people saying, why don't we do marine or motorcycle or heavy duty trucks? The OEs want me to build a front end so they can schedule better. I have dealership groups talk to me about they want their service catalog and they're not mine. So all those things are interesting, but that takes more software engineers.
Okay. You said you disagree on some of the things that were said by the previous 2 speakers. Could you get a little more specific?
Yeah, well, again, I live in Silicon Valley, and my job is to try to think about being 5 or 7 years ahead of where the market is. But I think that's dangerous to lump hybrids with EVs. They're just very different vehicle classes, and the people that buy Teslas weren't ever going to buy Priuses. And so I think I'm at zero service appointments in my first year in my Tesla, and my daughter's Bolt got recalled one time for a brake issue. So I've been in 2 years of ownership, 1 service experience. I just think it's a very different ownership model, different customer mindset, and a different kind of vehicle. Hybrids are complicated, beasts that need a lot of work, and EVs are not.
What are the most popular repairs, if you could rank them, by the ones that you perform?
Interestingly, our single biggest repair, and this is in some ways less efficient than a dealership model, is a diagnostic. So your car won't start, your check engine light's on. Instead of towing it somewhere, we'll come to your house. We'll tell you what's wrong with your car. We'll give you a discount. We're going to charge you an hour of labor to do that. We will give you a discount if you book the follow-up service with us, but that's our biggest single incident service. The preventative things like oil changes and brake pads are the next 2, and then when the things that happen from that diagnostic are the next, starter, alternator, battery, and then the tail gets very long for us.
Some of the individuals in this room may have more work than their shops can handle, pre-delivery inspections, warranty work, et cetera. Would you serve as a supplement to their workforce?
Potentially. We've done it actually in Orlando.
You got your phone number? Can they give you a call?
We've done it. We did it in Orlando for an OEM and a pilot, and mechanics were reviewed good by the dealer, and it went well. We do that for the auction guys right now. So both Mannheim and Odessa, we are providing supplemental labor. We generally prefer, doing, full-on work, but in the right situation, we would do it.
How do you measure customer satisfaction?
Well, we do it 2 ways. The way to compare it to both the independent guys and the dealers is to do it on delivered service. So we do an NPS survey every time we deliver service. But you go look at Yelp or Facebook in my reviews, and they're very binary. I get 5 stars or I get 1 star. And I get the 1-star reviews when the incident we were talking about before happens. The mechanic is late because the other appointment went long, and so we have to reschedule that customer. And the customer took time off to be home at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. You reschedule them, they're very unhappy.
Okay. There's been a lot of discussion today about the importance of process. Do you have a process for your thousands of mechanics to follow so that they can give on balance, a consistent approach to customers across the country?
Everything we do is done through our Mechanic app. It's proprietary technology. It provides a guided workflow. It has where the estimates are anytime, all the parts we replace, we take pictures of. So yes, our technology guides the experience.
Okay. Anthony?
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony Rodio. Food for thought for everybody here. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.